Welcome to this video tutorial on the PCSA Mediform, which will help you participate in the PCSA iPCRN surgical audit. We're going to be looking at importing the Mediform to Helath.one, customizing it for your local use, using the Mediform and running the analysis that the iPCRN needs to allow you get your audit feedback. So we go into a patient file in order to import the Mediform, and we click on the Mediform icon and then down arrow beside the red iris icon and say import. We now import the Mediform from wherever you've stored it, having downloaded it from PCSA.ie or HIUG.ie, or maybe as an email attachment. Mine are on my desktop. I double click on it and this will tell me that I already have the form, but if you haven't got it, that's how you download it. The next thing you'll need to do is localize this Mediform for your particular practice. Most of it localizes based on the user database, but there are certain things that you will have to change for your own use. So in this case, we're going to identify that it's the PCSA Mediform we're editing and go to Edit Mediform, and it will bring up the Mediform editor, and there's just 4 things that need to be changed. Most importantly, the surgeon's medical record number. You'll need to change them to correspond with the doctors who might be doing skin surgery in your practice, and save that. And then there are a number of changes that need to be made in the billing form so that you can accurately have the Mediform autocomplete your VHI and other private bills. And so these come under the GP first attended, and likewise you need to change these to the name of the doctors who work in your practice, and the names of doctors who may be referring cases to you, or indeed the patient. And likewise you need to have an accurate list of to choose from of the doctors who are going to be having their name appear on bills generated within the system in your practice. Once all of that is done, you save the Mediform and exit it, and now we're ready to use the Mediform. One final preparation is to make sure that you have a transaction name called procedure. That's because during the use of the audit, it will look for transactions called procedure, not consultation. Now in my case, I do have a transaction called procedure, but if you don't already have one, you need to make one. In my case then, when I start with a surgical case, I create a transaction called procedure. It also has a little icon that makes it easy to find in a busy file. If you haven't got this transaction name already, go to the configuration tool, select the transaction name icon here in the middle, check show all items and type procedure to find an item called procedure, and then drag and drop it into the right hand pane called selection transaction name. You'll see that I already have it here, and I've already right clicked on it to define an icon to make it easy to find. I also have an icon attached to my histologies, again to make it easy to find in a busy file. When you've done that, you save it and then leave the Mediform editor, or the configuration tool I should say, and we're now back in a file on today's date with the name procedure in the transaction. So to start the Mediform, we just select it as we usually would do, double click on it, and we can start recording the preoperative visit for this patient, maybe entering all the important details that we're supposed to consider with patients, giving a little bit of background history, and defining the physical findings for future reference. Very important at this point to record your preoperative diagnosis, because we'll be comparing that to your histological diagnosis in the surgical audit, and also any differential diagnosis. and any specific preoperative advice that you may have given. And that maybe the consent was recorded at this point in time. You'll also probably at this visit be recording the location of the lesion and adding some free text detail if you want clarification, or not, as the case may be. And now we save this because we have completed the preoperative assessment. But note that you cannot save it until the GP's medical council registration number is checked. And now we can save it, and we have a structured record, a lot of which is blank, but the bits that we've done are already filled in. So at a later date we'll be coming back to this patient's file perhaps to undertake the procedure, and at this point it's important to place the cursor at the point where you want to fill in further data, otherwise things tend to get a bit jumbled. So that I click at this point, I re-edit the Mediform, and note that everything is being recorded in the one transaction. All stages of this patient's care are being recorded under the original transaction date. So we now say that we're doing the surgery today, that it's a cystectomy, that we took care with dissection, and that the cyst was removed intact, and that the incision was 2 centimeters, what local anesthetic was used and the amount, maybe what sterilization packs might have been used in the course of using non-disposable instruments, whether histology was sent, what sort of closure was used, the details of that closure particular to this case, what dressing was applied, and what post-operative advice was given. At any point, and reminding that we told the patient to call for histology, at any point a post-operative information leaflet can be printed. And at this point we'll probably also generate the bill and tell the patient they need to come back in 7 days for the removal of sutures, and the billing will be done at this point as well generally. And this is where it's handy to have customized the form for your own local use, and put in the patient's insurance membership number. And now we will be shown accept. I forgot to tick that it was a cyst that was done, and now we can print both a post-operative information leaflet and the invoice and the almost completely filled in VHI form. It remains only for you to get the patient signature and to sign it yourself and put in your doctor code, and that can be printed. And that's all we're going to do at this particular visit. At a later date, of course, we may come back and record the histology, and when we're doing that it's really important, in the case of non-melanoma skin cancer for example, to record the completeness or otherwise and the extent of excision if they're reported quantitatively. Also that the histology does correspond to the preoperative clinical diagnosis, and that the patient was notified of these results. At a later date again we might be entering a follow-up visit, of which there are 6 options available, designed around the need to follow up non-melanoma skin cancer at intervals, but can be used for any lesion. And we might want to record that the patient was satisfied that it was Neil Maguire doing the follow-up. But conversely, if there was a problem, this would be the place to record it. And if there was a late complication, that can be recorded here also. So that's how to use the Mediform. When you want to now, after using this for a time period, participate in the community-based surgical audit, you need to go to the database query plus analysis with which you're familiar. track right down to the Helath.one analyses and the Irish Primary Care Research Network analyses, and you'll find that there's one called PCSA here, and there'll be a button called the Irish Primary Care Research Network. You click on that, confirm your email, agree to the terms and conditions, and export, and it will run a number of analyses that are designed to provide you with feedback on your surgical performance compared with the anonymized data of your peers who are also using the system. It's designed to do this every 6 months, so we probably should ask you to gather 6 monthly data at a time, and you'll be able to compare your performance with the performance of your peers. Thanks for considering using the Mediform. I look forward to having your feedback.